Someone writes in, Stugotz, I still love this show, but listening to how this has just become a show to talk about gambling and then pretend that you didn't trade one corporate overlord for another is sad.
He's that guy.
Good try.
Thank you. What is the computer buffering?
Yeah, the computer is buffering right now.
Yeah, unfortunate.
I clicked it like 20 times. It's not working.
Another person writes in, not sure why you need a second Hispanic male with an attitude. You have Mike Ryan, not a fan of this dude, Tony. Big-headed. Stop cutting to him like he's some sort of expert in anything.
You don't get the show.
Tony, do you have your top five?
A top five for a week 8?
Top 5 football observations while we try to figure out whether the computers are going to start working or not?
Of course I do, Dan. At least that works.
Yeah.
Chris Cody had an actual really good idea here. I don't know why I said it
Turn
that
the music up a little bit, Woody.
The joke.
Turn it down.
So how about this idea from Chris that you guys might hate? Chris says that Tony's top 5, if it's week 8, should be a top 8, and every week it just keeps going up. So top 9.
That seems like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work to say that Seahawks looked good.
You don't get what I do here, do you? You don't understand what I do.
The tape that you're going. I forgot. Yeah.
Number 5, Tony.
Number 5, Raiders. My God, Pa.
Yeah. Raiders. My God, Pa.
I mean, they are so bad. They are so bad. I don't know why. I don't know how.
They escaped yesterday on a football Sunday. They escaped a lot of people talking about them getting shut out against the Saints.
Andy Dalton, of all people, too. By the way, Saints are humming. That's not one of my observations. That's a free one. Saints are humming. Yeah. That's an outside looking in.
You could do it.
Yeah. They found the quarterback.
Yeah. Saints are humming. They are. I think since Dalton took over, they're averaging almost 30 points a game.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Jalen Hurts has it. Just throw that away.
Jalen Hurts, Stugotz, I think he's only got 2 takeaways this season. He's really smart with his decision making.
I love whoever's doing the decorations around here that keeps putting them over Tony's face.
They're doing great. It's a good job. It's a good job.
Number 3.
Let's see if I can stand. Oh, there we go. There I am. Oh, thank you, Woody. How kind of you. Number 3. You heard this on the show last night. If you were watching, Zeke is cooked. It was a Tony Pollard statement game.
It was.
So this is a refried take?
Not a refried take, just so good you got to hear it twice.
Zeke is cooked.
Okay, Zeke is cooked. Number 2.
Eddie Pinheiro. More like Eddie Pingasso.
I heard that last night, too.
So good, you got to hear it twice. You got to spin the block sometimes, Dano.
These are reheated.
They're not reheated.
They
No,
are.
come on.
These are leftovers. These are leftover takes.
No.
I heard that joke last night.
I know, and it's so good. The other part of the audience had to hear it, too.
They heard it this morning as part of Big Suey.
Good.
What was it again?
He's going to have a hard time coming up with 8 and 9 thoughts.
No, I mean...
He's having a hard time coming with 5 right now.
Go ahead, give it to him again, the thought.
Stu, yeah. Eddie Pinheiro.
Yeah.
More like Eddie Pingasso. Because that's what I screamed at the TV when the Carolina Panthers like, Pingasso!
Got it.
Did you have Carolina on the money line?
I had him a little bit here and there. Number 1, a very exciting number 1.
We're there already? Number 1?
Yeah, number 2 is Eddie Pinheiro, more like Eddie Pingasso. Yeah. Are you writing these down or no? No,
I am.
Okay. No, I know Stu is.
2 of them were repeats, Billy. That's why it doesn't feel like 5.
And 1 was an extra one, but he didn't count it.
Right, the Saints are humming. That was
Saints
not
are humming,
one
yeah,
of
that's
them.
OLI.
That's not a thought.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah.
Instead of Zeke is cooked. I mean, it's your list. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Number 1, did you guys hear the clock strike 12 yesterday or no?
What happened?
The Jets, the Giants, their carriage turned into a pumpkin.
Oh, that's
Speaking of pumpkins, calabaza, that's the Tony's top 5 for week 8.
So the clock turned 12.
Yes, there you go, Stugotz. The Jets and the Giants no longer rule all of professional football. It was a good run. It was a lot of fun. You remember those brief moments when they were 6-1 and 5-2, and everyone thought that perhaps they could hide having the quarterback, not having a quarterback for the rest of the season.
We think Tony's playing checkers, but he's playing chess. He gives us 4 very basic observations, 2 repeats, and then a joke setup none of us saw coming with a punchline, including a Cuban phrase, refrán del día, and he's done.
That's
incredible.
Right. That's right.
Chess, not checkers, guys.
It is great that the audience, much of the audience, doesn't understand half of the things that he said, and the other half had already heard half of the things that he had said. That's efficient work
Great
from
segment.
Tony on that one. I did something, Stugotz, that I have not done in a very long time on Friday.
Meth?
And I'm wondering if the rest of you have any recollection of when it is that you began texting or when it is that you began email or began the internet, because I had not realized how much my viewing habits had changed until I watched an old-fashioned primetime interview between Diane Sawyer and Matthew Perry on network television on Friday night. And I'm watching
Little
network
2020
television.
on ABC, huh?
I'm watching network television on Friday night, and it's been so long since I watched commercials.
Yeah.
And the commercials are all for murder.
Mm-hmm.
They're all for murder shows.
Yep.
And what I was watching in the commercials, it felt like that I've eliminated from my life is where and how America's gotten dumber in the commercials for network television. But Matthew Perry is making the circuit now as he talks about his addiction. And he said he was doing 55 Vicodin a day.
Just to get to normal.
55 Vicodin a day. You could tell from his hands and his teeth that he has done a great deal of damage to his body. He says he was on the cusp of death, that he should have died, that he was in a coma for 14 days, but that his habits were so strong that he should be dead. And 55 Vicodin a day. When I heard that, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
One of the heartbreaking moments from that interview, and it was great, Diane Sawyer did it, was Matthew Perry watching old scenes where he knew he was high, knew he was on 55 pills, and it was impossible for him to watch. He got emotional.
You guys had a real Friday night, didn't you?
Yeah. A little 2020. It's every Friday night for me.
But I don't think it was 2020. I think
It was 2020, Dan.
I just thought it was a nighttime Friday
so
night.
Friday night, what you get from 9 to 11 is 2020, and you get Dateline on NBC. Sometimes it's an hour. Most of the times it's 2 hours. Then Saturday night, it really gets interesting. You get another Dateline, and you get 48 hours on CBS. I mean, I am your guide for network television.
How did you enjoy all the Country Music Award commercials with your host, Peyton Manning?
CMAs.
Did you guys see the Dateline intro to the Bills-Packers game that they did on NBC? Oh, my gosh. No one saw that? It was probably the best part of the entire broadcast, honestly. They did a whole Dateline intro with the Canadian guy.
What, are you going to tell us about it? Or
Keith Morrison?
Keith Morrison. I couldn't think of his last name.
What
Thank
a
you.
great voice.
Yeah, they just did like a whole intro on like Buffalo and with Keith Morrison narrating it and the Dateline like sounds and everything like that. I thoroughly enjoyed
Are you
it.
trying to turn it like into a murder mystery? The game?
I mean, sort of. It wasn't that dark, but it was Dateline.
He can't be more Canadian than the Calgary Flames head coach. Did you guys hear this sound?
Let's play this sound because it was about Huberdeau. This was great. What is the Calgary Flames head coach's name? He looked like hockey. The man could not have possibly. Boy, Chris Cody just ran away from the microphone.
The sound is saved as Calgary Flames head coach. So I need to.
Okay.
Oh, it's Darryl Sutter.
I hope he's Canadian too. He sounds Canadian in this clip.
It's Sutter or Suter.
He was born in Viking, Canada.
It's Viking Canada. That's a hockey coach. It's Sutter, Whitty.
He answers this question with just a phrase. I don't want to spoil it, but he sounds as Canadian as you can sound.
But I have to set it up with this man looks like hockey in every way. His name is hockey. He is bored by this interview, and he's being asked why it is that Huberdeau has had to leave the game during play.
Huberdeau left the bench for a little bit in the first period. Are you able to say what it was?
I think he had to go take a shit.
Sounds like Stallone.
I think you had to go take a shit.
He does sound like Stallone, actually.
I think he had to go take a shit.
Go take a shit. Go take a
I
shit.
think he had to go take a shit.
The deepest shit has ever been said.
I mean, as Canadian as a human being could ever
I
sound.
think he had to go take a shit.
While sounding like Rocky.
I think he had to go take a shit.